Ethan. Lena, this morning was completely unexpected, yet somehow I managed to handle it. I wanted to go for a jog, but suddenly a storm blew up and soaked the streets, so I had to stay inside and brush up on some work notes for the meeting later. I also had to get across important points to my team because a few emails didn't send correctly. Moreover, the office printer broke off while I was printing urgent documents, so I had to call IT support immediately. While I was doing that, my neighbor came down with a cold and asked me to check in on him, which I did, yet it delayed my plans. Later, I came up against a problem with a courier that cut off updates about a package I needed, and I had to face up to that too. I was starting to fall behind my tasks, so I had to fill in for a colleague during a client call and get down to finishing my note. The rain eventually stopped, and I decided to go ahead with a short walk, but I still had to go through with finalizing tomorrow's presentation. Some habits have naturally grown out of me, yet I try to keep from stressing and keep on moving forward. I also had to let off some frustration when the neighbor's cat ran across the street. I always try to live up to my responsibilities, look out for friends, and fix mistakes when I mixed up schedules. I opened up my planner, passed out briefly in the afternoon, and noticed a car pull over to help someone. I had to put aside tiredness, and small acts like this run away with your heart.
Lena. Ethan, wow, that sounds intense. My morning was hectic too, yet different. I accidentally blew up the toaster while rushing breakfast, so I stayed home and brushed up on my own notes. I needed to get across some ideas to my team, yet my internet broke off halfway through a call, forcing me to call support. Later, my friend came down with the flu, so I visited her, which delayed everything else. I came up against a traffic jam that cut off my way to the store, and I had to face up to a long wait. I almost fell behind my schedule, so I filled in for a colleague by taking over her tasks. Some people get away with being lazy, yet I had to get down to finishing reports. I decided to go ahead and take a short walk, but still had to go through with all errands. Old habits have grown out of me, yet I try to keep from panicking and keep on working steadily. I had to let off some stress with music, live up to my deadlines, and look out for everyone's needs. I mixed up a few deadlines, but I opened up my calendar to fix them. After a quick rest, I passed out briefly before heading out. A car pulled over to help a stranger, which made me put aside frustration, and I felt my heart run away with the small joys of the day.
Lena, after yesterday, I woke up feeling determined, yet also a bit tired from all the running around. I had planned to tackle some personal projects first, so I started by organizing my desk and trying to brush up on my notes for the upcoming week. While I was doing this, I realized I had to get across some instructions to a colleague who had been confused about a task, and I didn't want any mistakes. Furthermore, my internet connection broke off just as I was trying to send important files, which meant I had to improvise and find an alternative method. On top of that, my cat somehow came down with a slight injury after getting stuck on a shelf, and I had to tend to it carefully, yet it distracted me from finishing my work. Later, I came up against a miscommunication from a client, which cut off the progress we had made on a project, forcing me to face up to the situation and calmly resolve it. I noticed I was starting to fall behind my self-imposed deadlines, so I had to fill in for a coworker and take over a portion of their responsibilities. Some people seem to get away with procrastinating, yet I had to get down to completing my tasks efficiently. By mid-afternoon, I decided to go ahead with a short break, yet I knew I still had to go through with some errands. Some old habits have naturally grown out of me, yet I try to keep from worrying excessively and keep on moving steadily. At one point, I had to let off some frustration when a minor mistake happened. I always try to live up to my responsibilities and look out for everyone, and even when I mixed up schedules, I opened up my planner to fix everything. By evening, I passed out briefly, then noticed someone's car pulled over to help a neighbor, and I thought it was a good reminder to put aside selfishness. Small gestures like this always run away with your heart.
Ethan, that sounds exhausting but impressive. My morning was equally chaotic, yet in different ways. I accidentally blew up a small appliance while making breakfast, so I stayed in and brushed up on my presentation slides, trying to get across my points clearly. Just as I was focusing, the Wi-Fi broke off, forcing me to find another way to communicate with my team. Later, a friend came down with a fever, so I went to help her, yet it delayed my schedule considerably. I came up against a huge traffic jam that cut off my route to the store, and I had to face up to the situation and plan a detour. I almost fell behind on some deadlines, so I filled in for a colleague by taking over some of her work. Some people get away with ignoring responsibilities, yet I had to get down to completing tasks carefully. I decided to go ahead with a short walk to clear my mind, yet I still had to go through with other obligations. Certain old habits have grown out of me, yet I try to keep from panicking and keep on working steadily. I also had to let off stress by listening to music, live up to deadlines, and look out for everyone's needs. Earlier, I mixed up a few schedules, but I opened up my calendar to fix them. After a brief rest, I passed out for a short time. Then I saw a car pulled over to assist someone, which reminded me to put aside frustration and enjoy small moments. These little gestures always make my heart run away with joy.
Lena, yesterday left me feeling a bit exhausted, yet determined to manage everything today better. I started my morning trying to brush up on some personal notes and ideas for upcoming projects, because I wanted to get across my plans clearly. Suddenly, my laptop blew up with notifications, and I realized several emails hadn't been sent properly. Furthermore, my phone broke off mid-call, which forced me to improvise and contact clients another way. While managing this, my neighbor's dog unexpectedly came down with a minor injury, and I had to help carefully, yet it delayed other tasks. Later, I came up against a tricky decision at work that cut off some of my progress, so I had to face up to it patiently. I noticed I was starting to fall behind on deadlines, so I had to fill in for another team member and get down to organizing everything efficiently. By midday, I decided to go ahead with a short walk to refresh, yet I still had to go through with several errands. Some old habits have naturally grown out of me, yet I try to keep from stressing too much and keep on pushing forward. At one point, I had to let off some tension when a minor error occurred. I always try to live up to my responsibilities and look out for friends and family. Even when I mixed up schedules, I quickly opened up my planner to fix things. Later, I passed out briefly from exhaustion, then saw someone's car pull over to help another driver, reminding me to put aside fatigue and appreciate acts of kindness. Small moments like these can truly run away with your heart and motivate you to keep going.
Ethan, that really sounds like a roller coaster. My morning was hectic too, yet I had to stay calm and focused. I accidentally blew up a small appliance while rushing breakfast, so I stayed home and brushed up on my slides for an important meeting, trying to get across my ideas effectively. Just as I was concentrating, the Wi-Fi broke off, forcing me to use my phone to connect with the team. Later, my friend came down with a flu, so I visited her, yet it delayed my schedule significantly. I came up against a huge traffic jam that cut off my route to the store, and I had to face up to it with patience. I almost fell behind on my deadlines, so I filled in for a colleague by taking over her urgent tasks and had to get down to finishing everything carefully. I decided to go ahead with a short walk to clear my head, yet I still had to go through with other responsibilities. Old habits have grown out of me over time, yet I try to keep from panicking and keep on working steadily. I also had to let off stress with music, live up to deadlines, and look out for others. Earlier, I mixed up some schedules, but I quickly opened up my calendar to fix them. After a brief rest, I passed out for a short while. Then, seeing a car pull over to help someone made me put aside frustration and enjoy small moments, which always make my heart run away with joy.